Imagine waking up one morning and discovering reality changed. Not because the world changed. Because truth changed. Yesterday becomes uncertain. Memory becomes dangerous. Language becomes smaller. Questions become forbidden. And slowly, you begin doubting yourself. Few writers explored this terror more deeply than George Orwell. A man who saw war, poverty, power, propaganda, and asked, what happens when human beings lose truth itself? Tonight, we explore Orwell's philosophy of suffering, freedom, memory, language, fear, and the invisible battle for reality. Part 1: Suffering Beyond Pain. Humans often think suffering means illness, loss, grief, loneliness. Orwell looked elsewhere. He asked, can truth suffer? Can memory suffer? Can entire societies suffer psychologically? He believed yes. Because humans do not live only through bodies. People live through meaning, stories, history, shared reality. Destroy these, and something inside humanity fractures. Part 2: The World of 1984. Inside 1984, suffering becomes systematic. Observation never ends. Language shrinks. History changes. Individuals lose certainty. The terrifying idea was not merely dictatorship. It was reality manipulation. If people cannot trust memory, who are they? If language disappears, can resistance survive? Orwell feared power that enters consciousness. Part 3: The Psychology of Surveillance. Humans change when watched. Behavior shifts. Speech changes. Thought becomes cautious. Orwell imagined permanent observation. Not only physical, psychological. The person becomes their own observer. Self-censorship appears. Fear moves inward. Modern life sometimes feels strangely close. Cameras, algorithms, public visibility, permanent performance. The watcher no longer stands outside. Sometimes, the watcher lives inside identity. Part 4: Language and Suffering. Orwell believed language matters deeply. Words shape thought. Thought shapes reality. Reduce language, and possibilities shrink. If humans lose words for freedom, can freedom still exist? If pain cannot be expressed, does suffering become invisible? Language protects memory. Memory protects identity. Identity protects humanity. Destroy one, the others weaken. Part 5: Poverty and Human Dignity. Orwell was not only thinker. He lived among workers. Observed hardship. Experienced poverty. He wrote about ordinary lives. Ordinary suffering. He understood hunger. Social inequality. The exhaustion of survival. For Orwell, political ideas were never abstract. Real people carried consequences. Behind systems existed individuals. Behind ideology existed human beings. Part 6: Animal Farm and the Cycle of Power. Inside Animal Farm, Orwell explored transformation. Revolutions begin with hope. Power arrives. Hierarchy returns. History repeats. The lesson feels uncomfortable. Humans may fight oppression, then recreate it. Why? Because power changes people. And suffering sometimes survives every revolution. Only wearing different clothes. Part 7: The War Against Memory. Memory protects identity. Humans know themselves through past experience. Orwell feared systems rewriting history. Because altered memory creates altered reality. If yesterday changes, today becomes unstable. Modern humans experience this differently. Information overload. Endless content. Constant revision. Attention moves quickly. Memory becomes fragile. And fragile memory creates uncertain identity. Part 8. Loneliness under control. Authoritarian suffering often isolates. People stop trusting. Stop speaking. Stop connecting. Loneliness expands. Orwell understood this. Isolation weakens resistance. Community strengthens it. Humans survive together. Separated individuals become vulnerable. The lonely person begins doubting truth. The connected person remembers. Part 9. Orwell and Modern Life. Orwell wrote decades ago. Yet many questions remain. Who shapes narratives? Who controls information? What happens when attention becomes currency? Can people distinguish reality from performance? Modern suffering includes confusion, noise, overload, too much information, too little certainty. Orwell's warning survives. Protect truth. Protect memory. Protect language. Part 10. Final reflection. Orwell believed suffering grows when humans lose reality. Not only physical freedom. Inner freedom. The freedom to remember. To question. To speak. To think. Perhaps truth feels ordinary. Until it disappears. The greatest prison may not lock bodies. Maybe. It locks memory. And once memory disappears, who remains? Part 11. The Last Light of Resistance. Even inside Orwell's darkest visions, something survives. The human need to remember. The desire to speak. The refusal to surrender entirely. Truth is fragile. But humans keep searching. Again. And again. And perhaps that search itself is resistance. Because as long as someone remembers, reality is not completely lost.